What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jerome, and we are here for a new season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This is season number 8, and it's episode number 1, and it was titled A New Dawn. This was a 2-hour episode, might I add, but Atlanta, this week is better than it was last week, because last week me and other YouTubers had to do New York Reunion Part 2, which was a drab Miami's finale and Part 1 of Miami's reunion. So I'm gonna be a little bit more upbeat than I was last week, but we are going to go ahead and just jump right into this shit because it was a lot of shit in this episode. All right, so we start up with Stevie J, who is now, Mr. Faith Evans. I'm like, Mr. Faith Evans. Okay, Stevie J, if you say so. So we know that him and Faith, they are out there in Vegas. He's talking about how he's a changed man, and you actually can see it, that he's a changed man, that, Faith is actually good for Stevie. He's talking about no Jocelyn, no Estelita, no Erica Mena, and he is at the Soul Train Awards, and he is getting ready to present Faith with the Lady of Soul Award. He did not tell Eva or Mimi that he was moving to Los Angeles, or the fact that he married Faith. So I'm like, damn, so Mimi had to find that shit out in the blogs. Like, ooh, we gonna get mad Mimi. I love Mad Mimi. I love, oh my God, Roxanne. If you guys don't follow Forest Rocks, who follow me, follow her, love her impersonations. Also follow, if you don't follow Bondi Blue or Ashley Miller, follow those two. But Roxanne, I'm ready for her review tomorrow. All right, so then we see Stevie. He is out with Faith and he's out with Eva, so they're having dinner. And, he's telling Eva that, he and Faith are married. I'm like, well, damn. Did you not think to sit down with your baby mama and have a conversation with your baby mama before you introduce your daughter to Faith? Now, we all know Faith is not a bad person, but, you got to think about the whole bullshit that Mimi has gone through over the last, 7 years, all the shit that she went through with Jocelyn. So, again, we know, Faith is not going to be like Jocelyn, but you just got to think about it. So what it is that, Stevie, he is trying to talk Eva into coming out to Los Angeles with him and Faith. And she's like, you need to talk to the parent that raises me. I'm like, smart little girl. And then, he wants to know what happened with this whole situation with Mimi, which we're going to touch on that in just a few minutes, but we're just going to talk about this first. So the situation is that there was a man that was in Mimi's car, and he shot at Mimi. And that whole story sounds so confusing. And I'm going to get into that when we get to Mimi, but we're just going to leave it at that for right now. All right, so we see another scene where Faith, she's out in Atlanta, and Stevie is explaining to him how Mimi felt he was leaving her hanging, her and Eva hanging out there in Atlanta, where he's in California with Faith. And Faith is gonna be the voice of reason for Stevie. Faith is gonna be a breath of fresh air for Stevie, because Faith is like, I understand why she would be mad. Like, I would feel the same way. I was about to say something. What happened to Faith's other husband? I never even knew that they got divorced, but I guess they did. Then Stevie tells her that Mimi wants to meet her. She's like, well, did she know that I went to dinner with Eva? He's like, I think she knows. I really don't think so. And Faith, like I said, Faith understood why Mimi feels the way she felt. So then we see Faith and Stevie. They're having dinner with Mad Mimi, and in walks Mad Mimi. And Mimi wants to know, she's like, I thought we were supposed to tell Eva together that you and Faith were married, but instead you're gonna pick her from school, take her out with your wife, and not tell me shit what's going on. Like, what the fuck is that? And surprisingly, Faith was on Mimi's side the whole time. Like, Faith, Steve was like, damn, like, I didn't bring her here to gang up on me. I brought her to have my side. Stevie, you are wrong in the whole situation. Like, how are you gonna sit here and, one, you get married, and there's nothing wrong with you getting married to her, but you get married, you don't tell Mimi, you move to Los Angeles from Atlanta, And then you go pick up your daughter from school and you don't tell Mimi nothing. So Mimi had every right to feel the way she felt. And I was happy that Faith was on her side. Like, kudos to Faith for that one. Like, I was like, because I didn't know what to expect. But I'm so glad to see that Faith was on Mimi's side in this situation, because Mimi is right and Stevie is wrong. We're going to get into Stevie and Mimi's conversation a little bit later. Okay, so next we see Spice. So we see Spice, she's having this performance, and she has a special guest there with her, and it's Tokyo Vanity. So since last season, Spice and Tokyo, they have, they made up with each other. They get along with each other. They're cool with each other. I don't know if I would be cool with a bitch that told me, maybe I don't want to eat, maybe I don't want to eat what I'm eating. Like, bitch, don't clock what I'm eating. Clock what you eating, ho. So then we see this artist developer there. His name is Avon, something like that. And, I was looking at his pants, them checkered pants. I'm like, man, them on some nut huggers if I ain't never saw some nut huggers. And, look like they were going to bust open at the seams, too. Look like they were size too small for his ass. But, he's telling Spice that she needs to start over, and he gonna compare her to Michael Jackson. I said, nigga, nah, nigga, no. No, the fuck you didn't. So, yeah, he wants her to work harder. Now, the thing when he said that he said to Spice, I didn't really like it. The fact that he told her that she needs to work on her look. I mean, you see a lot of people on Instagram with the sparkly, glittery dresses and whatnot, and the colored wigs and whatnot. Now, I don't think the blue is for her, but I mean, for him to sit there and say that to her, I thought that was really stupid as shit. And then we see another scene where I wrote in my notes she was FaceTiming, but then I looked at that phone and said, whoops, that's not an iPhone, that is an Android phone. No shade to anybody who has an Android, but yeah. So, Spice really feels bad about being away from her kids. Her kids are in Jamaica with her mom, and she's over here in the States trying to make her music career pop over here. And when it comes down to that, I don't, blame her. Because, she's trying to make a better life for her kids than what she probably has. So, it's understandable that you're going to have those feelings, but, you just got to stick through it and, push hard, persevere, and make it happen for yourself and for your kids, and they'll respect you in the long run. So then Carly comes over, and Spice is just telling Carly how she feels, and Spice says people really don't understand her, and I think she was talking about her skin tone and her look and whatnot. And Carly basically tells Spice to stay true to yourself, and that was some really solid advice. Like, just stay true to you. Don't let anybody else get in your head and tell you, anything about yourself. You know who you are. You know who you are. You know what you want to do. Just be truthful and honest and stay on the path that you set for yourself. So I really did like what Carly Red said to her. Child, Spice. In this part, I'm gonna call her onion powder. So, we see her, she goes to a dermatologist, and Spice wants to get her skin bleached. And I'm like, for what? And she's talking about people have, talked shit about her skin tone. And I'm like, really? Like, I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I don't, what's wrong with her skin tone? She's talking about how she's dark, and there's a lot of dark people, myself included. Like, my face, honestly, with my body, it's my face that's the darkest spot on my face, because everything else on my body is really pretty light, and I don't really give a fuck about that. I don't want to change my skin tone, so cause sometimes in the winter months I do lighten up a little bit more in my face, but my face I've gotten darker over the years because I was in band. I was in marching band. So when I was in marching band, we started practice in the summer, and shit, we were out there in 100-degree weather in Texas. So, I baked over the years. So I'm cool with my skin tone. I would never change it. But, she got mad at the dermatologist when a woman told her that she needs a psychiatric evaluation. Like, bitch, They do that with people who get, breast augmentations and stuff. Anything that you do to alter your appearance, they're going to sit there and have a psychological evaluation with you to make sure that that's what you really want to do, or if you just need to sit down and have a conversation with somebody about the issues that you have with yourself. Like, for her to get so offended, I thought that was stupid as shit. Like, what the fuck? If I was that doctor, I would have been like, you know what, girl, if you don't get your ass the fuck out of my office and don't come back, leave. Like, she got offended by the woman saying a psychiatric evaluation. That was some bullshit. So then we see another scene where Spice is doing a photo shoot and she invited Carly Red down there. And once Carly gets there, Carly's like, what the fuck is this? Like, I know she said that, people talked about her skin, but goddamn, I know she was going to go this motherfucking far. Nobody did. Like, when I saw that shit on the Shade Room, I was like, what the fuck is going on with Spice? First of all, I didn't even realize that was Spice until the comments, people like, that Spice. I'm like, you a motherfucking lie. That is not Spice, but it was Spice. So then we see Mimi and Rashida. They come, and they are also both like, what the hell is going on here? So then Spice goes off on this tangent about how, people talk about her skin and whatnot, and how she wants to do this to stick it to people. Who the fuck are you sticking it to by altering your skin tone? Who are you sticking it to? Just let us know that. Who? And then she's going to sit there and make a comparison about Mimi getting her titties done. Mimi was like, bitch, I breastfed for 3 years and my titties started to sag. Like, there's no comparison. Like, and it really is not a comparison. That is ignorant as fuck. Like, Mimi got breast implants. You are talking about altering your appearance. You're lightening your skin. And then also the doctor did tell her that you run a risk of getting skin cancer with bleaching your skin. I'm like, oh, interesting. Did not know that. But Spice is so fucking ignorant. So then in the next episode, because this was, I know it was one whole episode. I don't know why they just, never mind. I'm not even gonna talk about that. So we see Spice, she's in the studio and she's recording her song Black Hypocrisy. And she has two of her friends there. So she did say that over in Jamaica that it is more accepted for people to bleach their skin. I'm like, wow, that is interesting. Now her friends, are telling her the same thing that Mimi and Rashida was all telling her, like, girl, don't do that to yourself. Like, who are you really sticking it to? You're not sticking it to anybody but yourself. And that shows a lack of confidence in yourself. That shows a lack of self-love in yourself. Like, love the skin that you in. Like, I don't know how many more ways I can say that shit. But, I don't know what the fuck this is with Spice. Like, it's stupid for one. But, really, 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 really stupid. All right, you guys. So the next two things that I'm going to talk about, I was mad motherfucking confused about. The first one we're going to talk about is Mimi. So Mimi, we see her, she's on the phone with a quote dispatch, and she's telling them that, there's a man in my garage. He's in my car. He has a gun pointed at me. No, baby, you're not going to die today. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't mean to laugh, but it's just, it's weird. I was like, really, Mona? Really, Mona? This is what we doing? We didn't even hear the dispatch voice. Like, Mona, that is your niece Tracy. Like, stop playing with me. Like, what the fuck? And I texted my cousin about this last week when we saw the trailer. I'm like, did you know anything? Did you ever hear anything about Mimi getting, somebody breaking into Mimi's house? She was like, no. I'm like, cool. So then I tweeted last week about it. I'm like, has anybody heard about Mimi getting, like, where'd this come from? Like, it was never in the blogs. Now, mind you, everything else that we've saw so far was in the blogs. Spice was in the blogs with her skin. Stevie J and Faith's marriage in the blogs. Carl, what else was in? Scrap, DeLeon getting out of jail. That was in the blogs. Everything was in the blogs with the exception of Mimi. Like, I'm looking at this with a side eye. Like, I don't believe it. And I don't want to pass judgment on Mimi, but it's just like, how did something like this happen? And it never touched TMZ. It never touched, the Shade Room, Baller Alert, none of that shit. Like, how does no one know that Mimi almost died, or was? And the story just got even more and more confusing, because then we see Mimi. She is she's meeting up with Carly Red, Rashida, and Erica Dixon. Why is Erica Dixon back? Please, somebody explain to me why Erica Dixon is back. So she's telling them what happened, and this is where it really got weird for me. So Mimi was like, she was going out to take the trash out at 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, 11 o'clock at night to take the trash out. I used to do that when I lived with my mom in Tyler, in my hometown, but that was on the weekends because my mother was, an elderly woman, and she could not make it she couldn't get the trash can, roll it from, by our door to the street. So on Sunday nights when I would leave home about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. So I would be like, I would take the trash out because the trash ran on Monday. So I would take the trash to the street and, leave it out there for them to pick it up. Long story short, she would, I would leave the trash can up there for her during the week so that way she could just walk outside, throw it in a dumpster, and then when I come home, it'd be full on the weekend. That shit would be heavy as fuck. And I'll just roll it down to the street so that they can pick it up on Mondays and go. But for Mimi to say she took it out there at 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, what the fuck? Why don't you take the trash out the morning of the trash man picking up the trash? Or at least just have a trash can at least have the trash can in your garage and just take it and throw it in the garage. But then here's the other thing that got my antenna raised. So she said that the man was in her garage, in her car. So my question is, was your garage up? Number one, was your garage up? Number two, was your door open? Was your door unlocked? Do you not have an alarm on your car? Do you not have an alarm on your house? Like, how the fuck did this man get into your house, in your garage, in your car, and then shoot at you? That was confusing as shit to me. I just didn't get that. And she's talking about how Eva, she's a good sport. Eva is strong. And then she's talking about how Stevie J was mad at her that he didn't tell her, but he hasn't shown up in Atlanta in over a month. So he's out there in LA, and I had to agree with me. Like, I had to think about it. Like, what the fuck is Stevie J gonna do? You're in LA, she's in Atlanta. Talking about he can get on the flight. Well, we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But what the fuck? You in a different state than she is, in a different time zone at that. Fuck out of here. So then we see Carly Red. She is over at Mimi's house, and she offers for Mimi to come stay with her. Mimi's like, nah, we good. So, Carly is over there getting help with her invitations for her engagement party. And, they start talking about Scrap and, how he's out of jail. And, Carly's talking about how she talks to him and how she's also cool with Tommy. And they start talking about Tommy's legal issues. Back when this happened, when we were filming, this is when Tommy was in jail for, abusing her daughter at her school. And, how she's facing 50 years in prison. Like, I really do like Tommy, man. And I was actually asleep before the show came on. So I woke up just in time for it to come on. And I was watching the finale of last season when Tommy was in her house pouring out that alcohol, talking about, she cool when I drink. And I'm like, well, shit, somebody lied to you because you just went to court last week, got arrested because you was in court drunk. Like, man, I really do like Tommy. I want Tommy to get her life together, but shit, bitch, if you facing 50 years in prison, it ain't really much ways you can get your life together. Sorry, but yeah. So then Mimi is talking to Carly Red about Eva, and she's saying that she doesn't know that Faith and Stevie are married, that she's gonna meet Faith first before Eva actually meets her. Well, shit, that didn't happen the way you planned it, but whatever. So then we see a scene where Eva and Mimi are talking. This is after Eva, went out to dinner with Stevie and Faith. And, she's telling her, Eva's telling Mimi how, Stevie J wants her to come live in LA with him. And she was like, well, what did you tell him? She's like, I told him that he has to ask the parent that raised me. She said, good girl. Then she says, but I also met his wife. And Mimi was like, you did what? You met who? I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Mad Mimi. Mad Mimi. So we see Mad Mimi and she's with Steve and she tells him, she's talking about how someone tried to steal her car. And he asks her, like, why come you didn't call me? She's like, nigga, you are in LA. What the fuck were you gonna do? He's like, I could fly here, nigga. By the time you get to the airport and get off the plane, by the time you even leave your place to go to the airport, she could either be, I hate to say it, she could have been dead. The police could have already been there. It's a lot of other shit that could have happened. The time that it would have took you to get from your house to the airport and then get in the air, land in Atlanta, and get from the airport in Atlanta and go to where Mimi is. Like, so much shit could have happened in between that. Like, fuck out here, Stevie. And then he asks her where is Ty at, and she says Ty is in Israel. And, basically Mimi tells Stevie J that I just want communication and respect. And I agree with her. Like, you can't be doing shit all willy-nilly. You have a child with her. Respect her as your baby mama. If nothing else, respect her as that. So, she wants to meet Faith. So we're going to see her meeting Faith, which I've already talked about that. But we're going to move on. All right, y'all. So here is the next thing that confuses shit out of me. The Kings. So, Scrap DeLeon, he's out of prison, and we got the whole King family back. We got Scrap, Sass, and KK. So Scrap is currently in a halfway house. Now, Scrap can leave the halfway house, for a few hours out of the day. But unfortunately, in his situation, he can't leave the halfway house because in order to leave the halfway house, he has to be with someone who is not a convicted felon. Well, we all know that KK and Sass are felons, so they can't, get him out of the halfway house. So then we see another scene where Scrap is leaving the halfway house, and I'm like, well, who the fuck got him out? When he got out the halfway house, I'm like, oh shit, we already getting introduced to Moniece? Like, what the fuck? And then I saw the girl, I'm like, okay, that's not Moniece. And I'm like, oh, that's the baby mama, Tiara. Nope, wasn't the baby mama Tiara either. It was his half sister, and her name is Cheyenne. I'm like, half sister, bitch, Mona, where did she come from? Like, this is where the confusion came in. The half sister. So when he's released from the halfway house, the only place he can stay is at his sister's or with his mama. And we see him. He goes and he's talking to Sass and KK, and they ask about Tommy. KK rolled her eyes at him, and he's like, he don't really know, but he believes in Tommy, I guess. I don't know how the hell you can believe in her when the school people said that she beat her daughter, but whatever. So, Scrap want to know, like, how did you know about my sister? And she's like, oh, she knew his daddy cheated on her, but she never knew the gender of the baby. And that she said she thought his daddy was dead. And, she told him his daddy was dead, but his dad is actually alive. So, KK said that his dad was in jail for 23 years. And so Scrap and his sister are both 30 years old. So, was KK and the other woman pregnant at the same fucking time? Y'all, I don't know what the fuck my neighbor is doing. Like, I can hear there is a loud thud coming from here. This man, and he smokes weed. Like, I should link up with him, but he's a white man. I don't know why I'm whispering, but yeah. So, Scrap asked the sister, does she have a relationship with the dad? And she says, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then we see Scrap, he's meeting with his dad for the first time. And I was looking at the dad, and I even tweeted this. I'm like, man, that daddy looks more like Sass than he do Scrap. But, that's neither here nor there. So the daddy is talking about how he had a stroke and whatnot, and he can't talk that well. And Scrap was mad at the man, which, I guess I can understand him being mad at the man. But if he was in jail for 23 years, what the fuck did you expect for him to do? Or maybe, I don't know. This is why I say this was confusing. So then, Sass tells him, Sass pulls Scrap outside. He tells him, what, let the past be the past. And, Scrap, like, I think there's more to this story. I'm like, I agree with you, but we're going to find out what's more to that story once we get later in the season. So then his dad is like, he wants to try to have a relationship with him, and he loves him. He's like, why do you love me? And I was thinking the same thing, like, nigga, why do you love him? Like, you don't even know this nigga, but whatever. So then we see another scene where KK says that she talked with Will and how, he don't know how to really relay how he feels to Scrap. And Scrap asked, well, did he reach out when he was in jail? When she was in jail? And KK says, that there was a rumor on the streets that he was dead. And she said she told him she told his daddy that, she wanted a kid and she wanted to be married. But she came home one night and there was a woman in the bed. And so she just left. Like I said, all this shit was confusing as fuck to me. I'm going to try to make sense of it going forward in the season, but none of this shit really 100% made, sense to me. But Scrap asked KK, when did she find out about the daddy? She said she found out when he was in jail. And I'm like, huh? Like that whole scene, the confusion with the king it is confusion. But we gonna sort it out as the season goes by. Child, Mama D and these out of shape Golden Girls. I sat on my couch and screamed when I saw them women dancing. I said, what the fuck has Mona subjected us to this season with Mama D? So it's Mama D's birthday. And, she's having her party. We see KK there, but we don't see Scrappy there. We don't see Bambi there. And we don't see, well, she was talking about, somebody named Cece. So I'm assuming that is going to be Bambi's mama. Because we saw in the trailer where, her and Bambi's mama got into it with one another. So, yep, she has beef with Bambi's mama. So then she tells KK that, Bambi and Scrappy are living with her. And surprisingly, the mama of Bambi is also living with her. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I thought Bambi and Scrappy had their own house, but that's neither here nor there. So, then KK tells Mama D that Scrap is out of jail and he's in a halfway house. And, she then tells her that she got a call from a friend that is getting out soon. I'm like, what friend does KK have that we would know that's getting out soon? We'll see how this, we're going to see. We're definitely going to see where this goes in this season. All right, so next we see Shekinah, and she is doing this interview with Kirk and fucking Rashida. Kirk is still full of fucking shit. So Kirk is talking about how, there were so many women upset with him. Like, shit, nigga, you fucked up. You fucked another girl and you fucked another woman, got her pregnant, and you had a whole fucking wife at home. Like, nigga, yes. Oh my God. The trailer. Let's speak about the trailer real quick. So in the trailer, Rashida said there was infidelity on both sides. I said, no, you will not play with us. No, the fuck you won't. I'd be damned if they finna sit here and play with my emotions for one more season. I can't stand Kirk and Rashida when it comes to these storylines that they have. So, Shekinah want to know, how did Rashida, get past everything? Shit, that's a good question. How the fuck do you get past a whole ass baby? I can get past cheating, but a whole motherfucking baby? Nigga, nah. But she said she just had to deal with it. Wouldn't have been me. Fuck you. So we find out that they're having a dinner and they are going to celebrate their 19th wedding anniversary, and baby Cannon will be there to celebrate with them. I'm like, bitch, you's a lie. The fuck? So then Mimi is telling, them what Steve has done. Took Eva to dinner with him and Faith before she even met her. I'm like, girl, how long we gonna talk about this shit? Hopefully this is just one episode and it's done. But, she got to have a storyline, so we'll see. All right, so next we move over to Carly Red. What the fuck was wrong with Carly Red's makeup? That shit looked horrible. It was orange. It was like light up here, and then right around in here, it was orange as fuck. Like, the hell? So then we got to go down memory line of her, non-existent proposals from, who did she get proposed to by? Well, Benzino was gonna propose to her, but he closed that box up, and what's his name? Life Jennings proposed to her with that fake ring. So she's talking to her new fiance, which I'm kind of side-eyeing this too. But they talking about planning a wedding, and she then tells him about Spice and the struggle that she's been going through and how she wants to bleach her skin. And he, told her some good things to say to Spice. He was talking about how, as African Americans, we are prone to thinking that, straight hair is perfect. Light skin is perfect. The kinky curly hair, that's not, and dark skin is not. So, I mean, I got what he was saying. So then we had this scene where Carly Rae, she went to the glam shop to get her lace front touched up by Sierra. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, first thing we see Carly Rae is her makeup that's fucked up. Now we looking at her and his lace front is fucked up. And then the lace front right on the sides, it was orange. I'm like, Carly, what the fuck is going on with your makeup? Like, damn. So, they talking about this girl named Pooh, and how she was telling Sierra, Mimi, and Erica how she wasn't invited to Carly Rae's engagement party. And Carly was like, yeah, I stopped fucking with the girl because I thought she was an opportunist. And, how she don't like the way that she moves. She's saying that she moves like she's single. And Sierra's like, you know what? I see that because me and BK, we went on his birthday trip and she was there and she was just flirting with all these men. But you are married a woman. And we're going to get into Pooh in just a minute. So Carly is also, the other thing with Carly is she don't rock with her because this girl Pooh said that Carly Rae and her husband had a threesome with one another. I'm like, well, god damn. Okay. So now we're going to talk about Pooh. So no shade to, the transgender community. No shade to you guys. But when I looked at Pooh, I'm like, god damn, she looked like a fucking man. Her facial features were strong as fuck. And then, who she puts you in the mind of? She puts you in the mind of Laverne Cox from Orange is the New Black. And that is no shade to Laverne Cox. Again, no shade to the transgender community. She just gave me a transgender vibe. So that Mimi talked about who she's married to. I didn't really care to take that down, who she was married to. So in her marriage, she said she doesn't have an open relationship, but she sleeps with other women. I'm like, but isn't that the definition of an open relationship? But that ain't my business. If y'all like it, I fucking love it. So, Sierra's talking about how she's still with BK. I'm like, girl, you go from one cheating nigga to the next cheating nigga, but if you like it, I love it. And then, she starts talking about Carly Rae's engagement party, how she didn't get an invite to it. Girl, if you didn't get an invite to it, like, call the bitch and be like, what's up, Carly? Like, we cool, we not cool, what's up? Like, let me know what's going on between me and you. Oh, God. Excuse me. So then we see her. She goes to Carly Rae's store. Is it Mercy? Whatever the name of that fucking store is. And, she wants to know why she was not invited to the engagement party. And Carly Rae was like, well, girl, if you felt that strongly, instead of going to my friends talking about it, why can't you just call me up on the phone and be like, hey, Carly, I'm feeling this type of way. Like, why wasn't I invited to your shit? And you could have had a conversation that way. So then they start to argue with one another, and I don't know what the fuck they were arguing about. But then, she talking about, Carly did mention her talking about they she had a threesome with her and her husband. She's like, girl, you did. And then they were just screaming over each other. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with these two? It's gonna be a long season, but I think it's gonna be a good season. It's gonna give us what we did not get from New York, and it's gonna give us, I can't say what we didn't get from Miami because we got some stuff from Miami, but it was just those girls and they drama. It was so fucking stupid on Miami. So I'm really excited to talk about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So next we're gonna move over to the last thing of the episode, and it's the fucking Frost. Ugh. All right, so then we got Kirk and Rashida. So they are celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary. We see baby Cannon there. Rashida, she is meeting him for the first time. Kirk goes and introduces him, talking about say hi to Shima. She who? No. Rashida, not Shima. Rashida. That's all he gonna call. He would call me. Would be Rashida. He wouldn't call me Shima. He wouldn't call me, mama, mommy, ma, muda. None of that bullshit. Nigga, no. I am Rashida. Rashida. So Rashida asked him about the communication between him and Jasmine. I guess that's who she was talking about. So Kirk says that Cannon is pretty much spends his time with his grandmother, and he just wants to know what's going on with the money. He also says that Kelsey has a relationship with them, and they talk about parties and this and whatever. I don't give a fuck. Their storyline. Oh God, we have been talking about this shit for what now? 3. Okay, so we've been talking about this shit for too long, put it that way. But again, back to the Shima thing. Nigga, nah, don't call me Shima. The fuck? Call me Rashida. Rashida's a better person than I am. But you guys, that was Love and Hip Hop, season 8. Great opening episode. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to see you guys in just a few minutes for Love and Hip Hop Miami's Reunion Part 2, the finale.